He that the Son set free is free indeed. Freedom, saith the Lord. Freedom, singing about freedom. Oh, freedom, saith the Lord. Give me all that freedom. I'm singing about freedom. Oh, freedom, saith the Lord. Jesus was born in Bethlehem. He had a manger for freedom.
Tears in our eyes, we don't have to go to sing it, but we still decided to sing it. We shall overcome. No, before this victory is won, some will have to get thrown in jail some more, but we shall overcome. Don't worry about us. Before the victory is won, some of us will lose jobs, but we shall overcome. Before the victory is won, even some will have to face physical death. Physical death is the price that some must pay to free their children from a permanent psychological death. Then nothing shall be more redemptive. We shall overcome. Before the victory is won, some will be misunderstood and called bad names and dismissed as rabble-rousers and agitators. But we shall overcome. And I tell you why. We shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. We shall overcome because Carlyle is right. No lie can live forever. We shall overcome because William Cullen Bryant is right. Truth crushed to earth will rise again. We shall overcome because James Russell Lord is right. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yet that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadow, keeping watch above his own. We shall overcome because the Bible is right. You shall reap what you sow. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe
we shall overcome.
With this faith,
words spoken by Dr. King, along with the song Freedom. We play that song because it's prevalent and is relevant to our time today as never been before. Black men in this city and women, we need to be free. My name is Greg Grant, host of the Grant Brothers Bluff City Report. My co-host is my brother, Alonzo Grant. Alonzo?
Once again, hello, Greg.
Good to see you.
Doing?
Welcome
Good.
to the platform.
Thank you, thank you.
Freedom.
Freedom.
That song never goes out of style.
Never goes out of style. It sounds better every time.
Absolutely. And the words that Dr. King spoke, my friends, are words that we can use today in our everyday life.
Right.
Before we get started, we'd like to acknowledge Howard Richardson
Right, right.
and the basketball squad that came on the show. When was that?
Maybe a couple months ago, probably in February, before the season for their basketball team actually started. They're in the process of playing their games now.
Okay. Well, they came on the show and we were so impressed with them. We promised on the air that we'd give them a donation of $300.
Correct.
And we did that. And a few days ago, we received a beautiful card in the mail. A thank you card to the Grant Brothers for our contribution to the team. Each one of the team members signed off on it, and Howard Richardson gave us a really special message thanking us and bestowing the blessings of God upon us as we support Tennessee Glory with our generosity and the donation that we provided to them. So Howard, we want to say thank you for this beautiful card, and we will continue to support the basketball team.
Right. You know, we asked them to come on once the season started, you know, and give us a progress report. So we'll probably have them on maybe in the next couple of 3 shows.
Okay.
To find out where they are.
Okay. And one thing that we want to remind people that this program is powered by the Greater Memphis Democratic Club. The core of this show is political in nature in order to raise the standard of living
Correct.
for the people in the city of Memphis. We're talking to black folks because we need the help more than anybody.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Shootings are back on the rise. In 2017, people are robbing folks, carjacking people, taking innocent lives. So we got a whole lot of work that we need to do. One thing we want to do is say congratulations to the governor of the
Yes.
state of Tennessee, Governor Haslam, for the gas tax
Got it passed.
pass. You know, we endorsed that
We
tax.
did.
Interviewed the governor when he was here. Special thanks to Barbara Cooper, State Representative Barbara Cooper, who served on several of the committees while the bill was matriculating through the system in Nashville. And she and Joe Towns State Representative Joe Towns played a very pivotal role. In my talking to him, he explained to me that right off the top, Memphis is going to receive $500 million, $525 million
Right.
from the tax.
And that money goes directly and straight to fixing some of these roads.
Roads and bridges.
that we have around the city.
Right, in the city
In
as
the
well.
city.
Not just interstate,
Interstate, but in the city.
in the city.
And that was one of the reasons why we were supporting it.
Uh-huh.
Because we knew that that was going to be good money to do things within the confines of the city.
And the good news is this money is going to be reoccurring for the next 12 to 15 years.
Right, because the gas tax, whenever they do a gasoline tax, it's already earmarked for 10 years, 15 years,
Mhm.
however it goes until the expiration of time comes and then it falls off.
Well, one thing that we need to do, we need to make sure that we have people in position when this money come in, that these people will be listening to us, whereas they will do the right thing by the money. If you're living in an area and your roads are terrible,
Right,
bumpy, potholes, a raggedy street, your street needs to be fixed.
that's right.
And because of this new money, the city of Memphis will have the wherewithal to make that happen. So hats off to the governor, State Representative Joe Towns, and State Representative Barbara Cooper, who led the charge here out of Memphis to make sure that the tax got passed.
And I think it's gonna be, what is it, retroactive, or when does it start?
It starts immediately
Immediately, okay.
upon approval.
So what we need to, this is gonna be like on a state level issue. So you need to find out who your representative is in your area and get on the phone and find out where this money is and when it's gonna be applied, as Greg said, to fixing your street, your particular places that you travel a lot, and find out when it's gonna come. And that particular person, if they don't know, then they should be able to direct you to whoever is in charge of it.
Well, I found out that people are trying to get in touch with us, and they are calling us. But what will happen is a lot of people are ending up calling Tamara
Right.
of the production studio, the owner of this network, and she's a wonderful person to be affiliated with. So you just keep on making those calls. I want to say that Janice Full-Love is doing well.
Right.
And fine, she's back home, recuperating
Right. I've seen her. I've seen
from
her.
her
She's doing
stay
well. She's doing
in the
well.
hospital, and we certainly wish her the best and a speedy recovery. And when I was out, I ran into one of her good friends, Lady D.
Right. Right.
And Lady D says that she watches us every Sunday.
Well, what we probably should do is maybe not a live situation, but as the show is airing, then we can throw out one of our numbers and they can call us, you know,
Direct.
as the show is airing.
Yeah.
And maybe give us some words of wisdom or insight for the
Yeah.
next show.
Yeah, because when I talked to her, Lady D, give you shouts out to you, She gave me some very encouraging words.
Right, right.
And talked about the show, and that she was very, very impressed. So that tells me that we need to continue pressing on. And as we go forward, things are going to get better. The set is going to change a little bit. We're going to introduce some new things to the show, commentaries,
Right,
etc.
right.
And as a matter of fact, on this show, my brother will be giving the first commentary. And from that point, then we'll be having guests possibly coming in, doing
Right,
commentaries, etc., just to add a different kind of flavor to the show.
Right, right. Coming soon.
Yeah, very soon, probably in the next month or so, we'll have that worked out. One thing that we talked about last time, and that is the urgency at this point of getting registered as a voter.
Correct.
The Democratic Party in Shelby County is in bad shape.
And now's the time to do that. We're in terrible shape
Mm-hmm.
as a party in this county.
Yeah, and now is the time to get registered, because if you're not registered to vote, then you really don't have a voice.
That's right.
So if you're not a registered voter, it's not very much you can do to help the political process in this city.
That's right. We have a big election coming up. 2018?
Yeah,
A countywide election.
right.
So, I mean, we need to start getting our people registered and finding out who you're going to vote for, who's out there.
Mhm.
We need to get back in the system.
We got to build the Democratic Party from the ground up. We got to get back to ward and precinct organization,
Right.
where we organize the ward and precinct, neighborhood by neighborhood, block by block, community by community, in order to build it strong.
Right.
We got to do that. If we don't do that, then all the stuff we talk about is not going to work. We've got to have a strong community and a strong voter base. And as we get closer to the election cycle, you're going to hear more and more political talk,
Correct.
trying to make sure that you, the listening audience, the viewing audience, will understand how important it is to get out there and let your voice be heard. And you do that by being able to press that button
Right.
or
And
pull that lever.
I think you put the call out a couple of 3 shows ago that if anybody's in the listening audience preparing or want to run for office coming up, give us a call.
Oh, and we've already gotten a
Yeah.
response
Yeah.
for school board, which
Right.
is so important.
Right. We have for that seat we talked about on a couple of 3 occasions. We've gotten a response for the Mike Cannell seat.
Absolutely.
So as we put out 3 or 4 shows ago that we're coming, we are coming at you.
Absolutely.
So,
And at some point, we're going to be bringing these people onto the show,
correct.
introducing these people to society to say these are our qualified Democrats who understand our values.
Right.
We need your help. You got to get registered.
We can't continue to let these people wrong us politically and let them get a free ride every single time. It's time out. That's why it's important to do your voter registration so your vote, your voice can count. So it's time out for the free ride. School board members, we got people lining up. So if you're interested, call us. We're ready to go.
Because when you look at it and think about it, when they collapsed the Memphis City schools, we lost a lot of schools to the ASD, charter schools, green dot schools, blue dot schools. There's no continuity among our school system. And you remember way back a few years ago when we had a contract in New Orleans,
Right.
new leaders, new schools,
New leaders, new schools.
and Teach for America.
Right.
I'm told today that there's not one public school now in New Orleans. Every school in Atlanta in New Orleans is a charter school. That's scary.
Well, and what they have done And we've allowed them to condition us to think and to feel that a charter school is beneficial to us.
It's better
And
than
it's
a regular
really
public
not.
school.
A charter school is beneficial to the people
Well,
that promote the charter school,
the owners.
the owners,
Because the students are the same.
same students,
The neighborhood is still the same.
same place.
So they have taken charter schools and made the charter schools for profit.
Right.
And when they see these children, they really see dollar signs.
And that means that you get less. Because if it's for profit, somebody is consistently every day watching the bottom line. So that means that really, as a charter school participant, say that students, you really get less from the top side, and from the bottom side, you have to put more in
Absolutely.
as a parent and students.
I mean, look at these charter schools. They don't have band.
Nothing,
They don't have choir.
nothing.
They don't have a football team. They don't have baseball. They don't have anything that goes along with a complete curriculum. Our kids are coming up short. All the kids are not going to be smart. Every kid ain't going to be straight A. We'd
Right.
like for them to be straight A, but every kid may not be straight A. That kid who may not be a straight A could be a C student or a C plus student, could be an outstanding athlete.
That's right, that's right. And
Well, if you're at a charter school, well, how are you going to channel that energy?
right, and that's the mechanism to either get them in school or to stay.
And the problem is when that kid goes to the charter school, then the money for that child remains at the charter school.
Right,
It remains wherever that child is. And then if they were to kick that kid out of school, and that kid come back to the public schools, the money stays over with the
Correct.
charter school.
Correct.
This doesn't work for us. We need to be promoting a public school system, and just as a charter school can have certain curriculums, every school should have charter school features.
right,
Every school.
every school.
Because there are smart kids at every school, kids that are B students, C students, and D students at every school.
And you're talking about the same identical taxpayer dollars,
Right.
you know. So why should your kid be able to go to a dumbed-down charter school, which you think is good, and my kid has to go to public school, which you think is bad?
Because we've been
We've been
conditioned
conditioned.
to think that public schools are bad. Or they see a kid with a charter school uniform on,
Right,
a white jersey and some plaid skirts. You just think that that kid is going to be smart.
right, or more discipline,
Yeah, and you buy into it.
and buy into it.
But they have just as many problems as the public school system has. So what we have to do now is to save what we have left.
Right,
We understand that we came up short when they consolidated, but at this point, we got to move past that and get to where we are now.
right.
That we've got to save this school system.
We gotta do it. And not only the school board seats are up, we're having, judgeships, we're having,
State reps.
State reps, county commissioners.
State senator,
State senator,
all the county seats.
congressman, all of those seats are up. So we gotta sharpen our tools and get our knives out and be ready to get and elect people that think like us.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to make the plunge.
Don't be afraid.
You may not win the first time out, but that's called cutting your teeth in politics.
Right,
That you're going to make the investment in yourself. And whatever monies you spend, you're building up your name recognition. If you have a belief and a desire to be the congressman of the 9th Congressional District, is out there to be had. No seat belongs to anybody.
No seat.
All of these seats are within the public domain. And these seats belong to you, the voter. And you decide. Not just because a guy has been the congressman for a while, so we just got to automatically acquiesce and vote him back in.
Right.
It could be somebody better, who understands our needs a whole lot better, who will answer the bell when the bell calls for them. Right now, we're not getting any answering, even on a federal level.
Right. Well, because one of the things they've have us bamboozled to think that because you go federally to Washington and to different places that you're a different kind of person or a different animal.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to come back to know that all politics are local.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day. All politics start at our houses or our homes, period. And it doesn't matter how far you go away, if you go to, on a federal level, if you go to Washington, D.C., you still got to get on an airplane and come back to Memphis and get elected, period.
Come back and talk to the regular folks
Right.
who send you off to Washington, D.C.
Right.
We got to get to that point and be real about it. Be serious about it. We need your support. We need your help. We need you to register and be ready to vote in 2018.
Correct.
And if there are any special elections coming up this year, you never know. Things happen. People resign. People
Right.
retire. If there's special elections coming up, the Greater Memphis Democratic Club is going to be right there for you to filter through all of this. We've been doing this for 30 years, so we understand the political process, and we're in it to win it. And the people that we support are the people who normally win. And that's a good thing, because you all receive information from us every election cycle to say who the best candidates are.
Right.
A lot of times, as just a regular citizen, you don't have time to evaluate all these people. You don't have time to look at their resumes to see what they're made of.
Right.
That's what we do. And we pick and we choose. And once we do that, we're full steam ahead to try to get the best representation that we possibly can.
Right.
And people that we get elected, once they get elected, we're going to hold their feet to the fire where they won't change on us.
Correct.
Because we have a lot of that. Change. And most times when people change, it's basically because of money,
Exactly.
contributions, special interest groups, people that come to fundraisers and write checks and have people doing things that they want them to do contrary to the belief of the community.
Right. And a lot of times we give our elected officials a pass because we don't ask for a whole lot, because in a lot of cases it seems as if we don't know what to ask for.
Yeah.
So that's got to be our position.
Mm-hmm.
We got to demand this stuff. So they can't get the pass or stand on the pass and say, well, I didn't know they wanted that.
Right.
I did the best that I could, based on me not knowing what they want.
Right.
So we got to stand the gap and demand this stuff.
Absolutely. And politicians who are sharp, even if they don't get a call from that particular constituent, they're able to go into their district and find out what the problems are.
Right.
Just by driving your car down the street
That's right.
and seeing what the problems are. We've got to give special kudos out to State Representative Antonio Touche Parkinson for leading the charge against the ASD schools in Nashville.
That's right.
And he's talking to the governor about shutting that process down and those schools down,
Right.
and giving those schools back to Shelby County School System,
Right.
formerly known as the Memphis City Schools.
That's right. Because when you do that and shut those schools down, it just devastates communities. You take away everything. So he's been doing a yeoman's job in pushing that forward.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say kudos and congratulations out to Dr. Anthony Harris.
Right.
Dr. Harris is the incoming new president of the local teachers union.
Okay,
And he's over there with Keith Williams.
okay.
So with those two guys
We
working
should
together,
get something done
with those two
with
guys,
those two guys.
it's going to be some furniture moving around over there at the Board of Education. So Dr. Harris takes charge sometime in the month of either June or July.
Okay,
And he's going to begin his 2-year tenure.
just
With
in
the
time
school
for the
system.
new school year.
Yeah, and more importantly, you know, they're contemplating the contract for the new superintendent, for the existing superintendent
Yeah,
at $279,000 a year to be superintendent of schools.
superintendent over the bus routes.
Because I don't see any real programs.
Yeah, I don't see.
You know, say what you want, when we had other superintendents, we always had programs.
We always, the little red schoolhouse, something, always.
Always.
We hear nothing.
All we hear about
is
is
the
more
bus drivers.
bus drivers having wrecks
Yeah.
and
the
more
bus
security.
drivers. That's it.
And sending kids off to jail. That's all we hear about. We don't hear about any educational plans. And if there are, then they need to start making it
That's
public.
right, that's right. We need to know what we're paying $175,000, $300,000 for. We need to know that,
Mhm.
okay? So don't forget to put that number out so we can, your number, and I can give my number, so we can have people to call during the show's airing time, and call either one of us, and we can get the feedback.
Well, that's a good thing. And what we'll do is, if those of you who wanted to move forward on the political side,
Right, call that number also.
so we'll probably have Tamara to put that number up on the screen.
Right,
And Sunday, this week, when this particular show is aired, you will have an opportunity to call that number.
correct.
And she'll put it on the screen for us.
Right.
And let your voices be heard. We're absolutely serious about the progress of Memphis. We're absolutely serious about you getting involved. And we're not going to take any excuses.
No excuses.
No excuses. So you're going to have to get your mind ready and decide that you're going to put your best foot forward.
Yes.
I want to thank you for joining us today. This has been very informative, and this show is very important to us. We're moving ahead. We're using the power of the Greater Memphis Democratic Club to get the political message out. And it's up to you to receive it as a citizen of the city. And on any given Sunday, it's going to be the Grant Brothers Bluff City Report.
Thank you, and have a good night.
That was pretty good. What'd you